According to the U.S. Department of Defense Dictionary of Military and Associated Terms, a covert operation is an operation that is so planned and executed as to conceal the identity of or permit plausible denial by the sponsor. It is intended to create a political effect which can have implications in the military, intelligence or law enforcement arenas. Covert operations aim to fulfill their mission objectives without any parties knowing who sponsored or carried out the operation. Under United States law, the Central Intelligence Agency must lead covert operations unless the President finds that another agency should do so and properly informs the Congress. Normally, the CIA is the U.S. government agency legally allowed to carry out covert action. The CIA's authority to conduct covert action comes from the National Security Act of 1947. President Ronald Reagan issued Executive Order 12333 titled United States Intelligence Activities in 1984. This order defined covert action as special activities, both political and military, that the U.S. government could legally deny. The CIA was also designated as the sole authority under the 1991 Intelligence Authorization Act and in Title 50 of the United States Code Section 413(e). The CIA must have a presidential finding issued by the President of the United States in order to conduct these activities under the Hughes-Ryan Amendment to the 1991 Intelligence Authorization Act. These findings are then monitored by the oversight committees in both the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives. As a result of this framework, the CIA receives more oversight from the Congress than any other agency in the federal government. The Special Activities Division is a division of the CIA's National Clandestine Service, responsible for covert action and special activities. These special activities include covert political influence and paramilitary operations. The division is overseen by the United States Secretary of State. Law enforcement, undercover operations are conducted by law enforcement agencies to deter and detect crime and to gather information for future arrest and prosecution. Military intelligence and foreign policy. Covert operations and clandestine operations are distinct. The Department of Defense Dictionary of Military and Associated Terms defines covert operation as an operation that is so planned and executed as to conceal the identity of or permit plausible denial by the sponsor. A covert operation differs from a clandestine operation in that emphasis is placed on concealment of identity of sponsor rather than on concealment of the operation. The United States Department of Defense definition has been used by the United States and NATO since World War II. In a covert operation, the identity of the sponsor is concealed, while in a clandestine operation the operation itself is concealed. Put differently, clandestine means hidden, while covert means deniable. The term stealth refers both to a broad set of tactics aimed at providing and preserving the element of surprise and reducing enemy resistance and to a set of technologies to aid in those tactics. While secrecy and stealthiness are often desired in clandestine and covert operations, the terms secret and stealthy are not used to formally describe types of missions. Covert operations are employed in situations where openly operating against a target would be disadvantageous. These operations are generally illegal in the target state and are frequently in violation of the laws of the sponsoring country. Operations may be directed at or conducted with allies and friends to secure their support for controversial components of foreign policy throughout the world. Covert operations may include sabotage, assassinations, support for coups d'état copyright (TAT), or support for subversion. Tactics include the use of a false flag or front group. The activity of organizations engaged in covert operations is in some instances similar to, or overlaps with, the activity of front organizations. While covert organizations are generally of a more official military or paramilitary nature, like the DVS German Air Transport School in the Nazi era, the line between both becomes muddled in the case of front organizations engaged in terrorist activities and organized crime. Examples: Military Assistance Command, Vietnam Euro Studies and Observations Group, Operation Wrath of God, Operation Gladio, Operation Anthropoid, Houston Plan, Iran-Contra Affair, Project MKultra, Operation Chaos, CIA Project Cherry, Bang Pao's Clandestine Army, Palace Dog, Raven Forward Air Controllers. Notable cover operators. The following persons are known to have participated in covert operations, as distinct from clandestine intelligence gathering either by their own admission or by the accounts of others: Roy Farron, Major Roy Alexander Farron DSOMC, and 2 bars served in Her Majesty's SAS during WW2, taking part in Operation Tombola. Author of Winged Dagger, lived January 2, 1921 – June 2, 2006. Robert Baer, Josef Garbek and Jan Kibia, Czechoslovak British-trained agents sent to assassinate one of the most important Nazis, Reinhard Heydrich, in 1942 as part of Operation Anthropoid. Aaron Franklin, World War II U.S. Office of Strategic Services officer who created a fake group of the German army, made up of POWs, with the mission of killing Hitler. As a colonel, he was the first commander of United States Army Special Forces. Charles Beckett, U.S. Army colonel who was an early exchange officer with the British Special Air Service, and created the Delta Force based on the SAS. Gary Benson, CIA field officer and team leader during Operation Enduring Freedom. Wendell Fittig, United States Army Reserve officer who organized large Filipino guerrilla forces against the Japanese in World War II. Virginia Hall, American who first worked for the British Special Operations Executive, then for the American Office of Strategic Services in German-occupied France. Only U.S. woman to receive the Distinguished Service Cross. Eric Haney, one of the founding members of Delta Force. Michael Harari, Israeli Mossad officer who led assassination operations against PLO members accused of the 1972 Munich massacre. Bruce Rusty Lang, commander of a mixed United States Army Special Forces and Montafnard Commando Recon Team of Command and Control North, Studies and Observations Group. Previously served on Project 404, U.S. Embassy Laos, Assistant Army Attaché Copyright. Edward Lansdale, United States Air Force officer seconded to the CIA, and noted for his work with Ramon Magsaysay against the Hukbalip insurgency in Philippines during the early 1950s, and later involved in Operation Mongoose against Cuba. T. E. Lawrence, British Lawrence of Arabia, who organized Arab forces during World War I. Al-Mafat, French DGSE officer convicted, in New Zealand, for sinking the Greenpeace ship Rainbow Warrior. Richard Meadows, United States Army Special Forces officer known for many operations, including the POW rescue attempt at Son Tay, North Vietnam, and for deep operations in support of Operation Eagle Claw. Richard Meinetzhagen, British officer who engaged in deceptive operations against Turkish forces in World War I, although falsifying later operations. Ramon Mercader, NKVD operator who assassinated Leon Trotsky under the direction of Pavel Sadoplatov. Omar Nasri, Noriniyat Khan, Anglo-Indian Special Operations Executive Radio operator in World War II occupied France, killed in Nazi captivity with 3 other SOE agents, Violan Beekman, Eliane Pluman and Madeleine Desmarmont. Chuck Ara, former Navy SEAL. Dominique Freire, French DGSE officer convicted, in New Zealand, for sinking the Greenpeace ship Rainbow Warrior. Richard Corin, German World War II saboteur landed by German submarine in the U.S., as part of Operation Pastorius. Captured and executed ex parte. Corin was a Supreme Court case challenging the constitutionality of execution of unlawful combatants. Ali Hassan Salami, Chief of Operations of Black September. Mike Spann, CIA field officer and the first agency operative to be killed in action during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Gary Schron, CIA field officer who led the first CIA team into Afghanistan during the opening stages of Operation Enduring Freedom. Otis Skorzny, German commando who led the rescue of Benito Mussolini, and operated in U.S. uniform during the Battle of the Bulge. Pavel Sadoplatov, Major General in Soviet State Security, with roles ranging from assassin to Director of Field Operations. Geza S. Villamar, Filipino Air Force officer that helped organize World War II guerrilla movements. Billy Waugh, former United States Special Forces soldier who later worked as a contractor with the CIA. Representations in popular culture. Covert operations have often been the subject of popular novels, films, TV series, comics, etc. The company is a fictional cover organization featured in the American television drama thriller series Prison Break. Also other series that deal with cover operations are Mission, Impossible, Alias, Burn Notice, The Unit, The State Within, Covert Affairs, Airwolf, and 24, and The Blacklist. See also, spy fiction, spy film, HUMINT, counterintelligence, military intelligence, black operation, false flag, filibuster, SO-10, counterintelligence field activity, cover warfare, task force Falcon, manhunt, church committee, cover United States foreign regime change actions. References. External links. 1. Statutory procedures under which Congress is to be informed of U.S. intelligence activities, including Covert Actions by Alfred Cumming, January 18, 2006, Congressional Research Service, Richard Hirsch Statement to House Judiciary Democratic Congressional Briefing, January 20, 2006 via thewall.civiblog.org, full transcript, House Judiciary Democratic Membership Briefing Constitution in Crisis, Domestic Surveillance and Executive Power January 20, 2006 via thewall.civiblog.org, Big Brother is Watching You Part 1 to 902 miles Group Talent Project Summary, Spreadsheet, Representative Wexler Response, and News Coverage Collection. Via thewall.civiblog.org, Stith Network Operations Center Covert Communication Support System.